Bismillah, inna alhamdulillah, salatu wassalam ala rasulillah. As-Selamu Alejkum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. That was weak, by the way, guys. Come on, you can do better than that. As-Selamu Alejkum. Good, much better. Jazakumullah khair. First of all, welcome to the conference here in the Balkans, in Sarajevo. This is the first time that we as AIRA are delivering this type of program here. I'm so happy to see so many beautiful brothers here today, inshallah. There will be some more joining us tomorrow as well, of course. And my job today is to introduce the conference and to introduce what we will be doing over the next few days, inshallah. So, my name is Abu Tayeb. I'm from the UK. I'm from a city called Newcastle. Anyone heard of Newcastle before?
Yes.
Put your hand up, let me see. How many people know of Newcastle? How do you know about Newcastle? You tell me, bro. Tell me about Newcastle.
Football team.
Of course, the best football team in the Premier League, of course. No? Which team do you support? Tell me. And if you say Manchester United, right? Alhamdulillah. So, Newcastle is actually up in the north of the UK, right at the top, near Scotland. Beautiful city, much better than London, and Birmingham, and Manchester. Okay, if you ever come to the UK, you have to come and visit me in my city, alright? That's an open invitation for all of you, inshallah. Right, so, a little bit about myself. My name is Abu Tayeb. I am the head of UK and Europe for AIRA. My responsibility is to ensure that the da'wah is healthy in the UK, all over the UK, and also healthy in Europe. So as you're going to see, my responsibility is to aid and support you all in the wonderful work that you're already doing in the Balkans, and to see how we can help and make it better. We're not here to take over anything. We're not here to step on anyone's toes. Our job is very specifically to help you with the resources that we have. And this is the starting point for you coming here. So, what is this conference all about? Well, number one, we will be delivering over the next few days some advanced da'wah training. The latest content that we have at AIRA, we'll be sharing with you all, inshallah. So the latest content on how to give da'wah, what kind of arguments you can use to deal with the many questions that you might get from your non-Muslim counterparts, how to deal with them effectively in a contemporary way. So we will have, in this da'wah program, we'll have Sheikh Bekir, who's come all the way from Skopje in Macedonia. He's going to give us some knowledge and advice. We have Brother Tariq, you all know him. He is the superstar of Balkans, I can say, right? He's the main man here, so he'll be giving you some advice. Brother Sartaj at the back, who's taking pictures at the moment, which I'm going to go through. He will be discussing some things about some of the content that we have. But more importantly, we have a special guest coming, all the way from UK. Brother Hamza Zotzis, he's on his way on a flight now. He'll be here this evening. And he'll be spending all of Saturday, going through some of the more advanced level content with you all, inshallah. So, number one, we're going to be doing the advanced da'wah training. Number two, this program, this conference, is about networking and relationship building. How do we coordinate our da'wah and help each other for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? This is another aspect of why we're here today. Thirdly, I want to look at how we can coordinate our work for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and how we can work together to improve the work that we're currently doing for His sake subhanahu wa ta'ala. And finally, I will be looking at how to, looking at somebody who we can have representation in the Balkans as an outreach specialist for the da'wah work that's going on in this region, inshallah. So this is what this conference is all about. Why did we organize it? Well, I came here in April for the first time, and wallahi, this is the truth. I say this from my heart. I fell in love with this place, right? This country I fell in love with.
This place or?
The country, man, what's the matter with you? So we came in April, we came in June, and this is the third time that we're here to organize all the brothers that we met over the two trips. We want to get them all together and to share ideas on how we can coordinate our da'wah better, inshallah, all right, between us. in all the different countries that you all represent. So the culture, I want to just highlight, I'm going to highlight this again. We understand with all the work that I do, when I travel around different parts of the country in UK, when I travel around different parts of Europe, when I go in different parts of the world, going to help and support the dawah work that's currently being done, one of the most fundamental things that I recognize as somebody who works in the field on the grassroots level, one of the most fundamental things that I recognize is that you all know your condition better than anybody else. You know your culture, you know your situation, you know the politics better than anybody else can, because you're working here on the grassroots, on the front line. So we are not here to try and take over anybody's work or try and control anything. That's not what our work is about. That's not how I work. My job, as I mentioned earlier, is to support anyone who's doing good for the sake of Allah. My job is to support them and to make it, using what we can offer, as you're going to see in a moment, how we can share that with you all, inshallah. Okay? And you know, I'm generally not I'm against the idea of, you know, parachuting into a place, you know, giving some training and then parachuting out, leaving you guys to it. I'm looking at more long-term relationships. How can we coordinate the work that we do in a long-term way? So building roots and building upon that, okay? So it's a collaboration, it's a partnership, if you like, okay? And this is why tomorrow evening, Friday after Isha tomorrow, you will all have an opportunity to share some of the work that you're doing and tell us about your organization, the work that you're doing, and how we can share some of that good practice, I guess. All right? So we'll be doing that tomorrow in our networking session, inshallah. All right, so for this conference, what are our expectations? Now, first and foremost, we're going to bring you, like I said, the latest content that we have in dawah techniques, in dawah arguments and concepts. So my expectation is that you learn all the concepts, you take it back to your countries and to your regions and your cities, and you deliver that content, the knowledge that you gain from here over the next 2 days, you deliver it back to your teams. All right? So this is what I expect from you all. That you go back to your teams and share that knowledge with them. And then you implement it by using that knowledge to call non-Muslims to Islam. All right? That's the main expectation that I have from you attending this program. All right? Are you all in agreement with that? Are you all happy with that? Yes. Yes? Good. Right, so before we start the program, I always like to do a little agreement, yeah? Something that we all share. So there are certain things that we expect from you, and there are certain things that you should expect from us. And whatever we agree on today, that we decide today, is we're going to keep that all the way through. All right? So what's the first thing, apart from this, after this, that you should expect that I should expect from you? So I expect you to take the knowledge and deliver it. What else should I expect from you during these sessions? Usually when there's a question, you're supposed to answer something back. Right? Edim, tell me.
You are too shy.
What?
Too shy.
You can't be too shy.
Yeah, so what are you expecting from us?
What am I expecting from you?
Well, maybe as you said at the beginning, maybe this long-term relationship, so we can all stay in touch. Maybe, for example, now there are 50 people.
Yeah.
50 people. Maybe the next time we can get even more people.
Good.
So we can share this knowledge by making us seminars over here. Without you, maybe
good.
Just being over here.
Very good.
Just with you.
So be proactive.
Yes.
Good. What else? Who else can tell me? Yes, brother.
To not be cheers.
To not be?
Cheers. To be participation.
Yeah, good.
Communication.
Excellent. Interaction. I expect in these sessions, I expect interaction. I don't want to be standing here looking like an idiot talking to myself, right? So I'm asking a question, you guys need to get involved. So yeah, definitely interaction, get involved. What else should I expect from you? Or should we expect? Well, maybe turn up to the sessions, that'd be a good start. Don't be late. All right. So when the session starts, make sure you're here on time. What else? Yeah.
Taking notes.
Taking notes. Good. Brilliant. Anything else? Huh? Maybe don't. Yes, Sartaj, you got something?
Reflecting about the content.
Good. Internalizing it. What else should we expect from you? What should we do with our phones? Don't use your phones, right? Good. I do expect you all to ask questions. If you're not sure about something, ask the question, right? That's how you're going to learn. So when we're talking about the different concepts and the content, ask questions. This is your opportunity to find out the information that you need, all right? We will be taking photos and video. Does anybody object to being on any of the videos or the photos? Does anyone not want to be specifically? I have to ask. There's a form on your chair. Please fill that in to give consent and permission for us to use you in the footage and stuff. All right. If anyone objects, please let me know.
For the marriage, it's okay.
Sorry?
It's going to be.
You're already married, brother. Don't worry. All right.
We are just 25%
You're just 25%
occupied.
occupied?
Yeah, just 25%.
Yeah, that's true. But you know,
His wife is not over here, so he's still good.
that's what. All right. So please fill in those forms. Now, the last thing that I need to talk to you about is who is IERA and what do we do. So let me give you a quick rundown on our vision and strategic focus. So as IERA, our responsibility, our new focus and strategy is to spread Islam and empower the Muslims all around the world. How are we doing that? We are focusing on individuals. So the biggest aspect of our vision is to employ outreach specialists in every continent on the earth. Okay? Employ outreach specialists who will be specifically focused on organizing and coordinating the dawah efforts in every region. So from my remit is to look after Europe, UK and Europe. So what that means is, in practice, if this works, is to recruit enough people. At the moment we have about 40 outreach specialists in 6 continents, right? We have many outreach specialists in different parts of Africa, in South America, North America, Australasia, and now Europe. Brother Sartaj at the back, he will introduce himself shortly. He is the outreach specialist for Central Europe. Okay, so he covers about 6 or 7 countries in Central Europe with the work that he does. Okay, our job is to help coordinate and facilitate that dawah so that it becomes effective, has more impact, and of course, as you know, the importance of Europe is one of the most influential continents on the planet. So having a good presence and having the dawah focus in Europe, from my point of view, is the way in how we're going to shape the world for the future. That's how I see it. Okay, shaping the world for the future. Because if you have good dawah and good representation of Islam on this continent, then it is going to influence how the rest of the world sees Islam as well, inshallah. That's how I see it. So that's why it's so important having the right people in the right places when it comes to this type of work, all right? And I understand all of you, every single one of you in this room is doing some great, wonderful work in your regions. How do we take that to the next level? That's the question we have to ask ourselves. And I'm a very strong believer in collaboration. Working in collaboration, working with each other is how instead of working as silos, individuals, when you work as a group who are like-minded, you're going to have a lot more impact in your work, inshallah. All right? So Europe is important. This is how IERA is currently set up in terms of Europe. We're focusing on Central Europe and the Balkans this year, 2019. For 2020, we'll be looking at Scandinavia and maybe even parts of Eastern Europe. And then we'll be looking over the next couple of years after that for Western Europe and other places as well. So there's a lot of planning that takes place. Now, the interesting thing about this model that we have, you guys play an important role because you all sit in this bit, key stakeholders. So from London through to Central Europe and other parts of Europe, we'll have outreach specialists in all those areas, inshallah. But you, who are doing work on the ground, will be key stakeholders for us. So it means like a type of shura, if you like. We'll be turning to you to tell us what are the challenges on the ground, what are the needs for the da'wah, and how you can influence the work that we do as well. So it becomes a bit of a life cycle, all right? So I think everybody has a very important role to play in the da'wah in Europe, okay? As I mentioned, this is where we're focusing on at the moment for Central Europe, Brother Sultaj is dealing with. And then our next focus is the Balkans, to see how we can improve and increase the capacity of da'wah here. So how do we do that? Well, first of all, the way that we work is we will come to different areas by invitation only and look at, do a da'wah health check, if you like. See what's going good, what's not going so good, where the gaps are, and see if we can plug some of those gaps, all right? And increase the capacity that you have. How do we do that? Well, first of all, it's about that mutual benefit, relationship building, all right? It's a two-way process, all right? So we work together to help the da'wah. Number two, we can provide things like talks, workshops, da'wah seminars, lectures, and so on and so forth, with some of our da'wah specialists like Hamza Zortes, Abdurrahim Green, and some of the other partners that we have, specialists that we have. And we also supply da'wah materials free of charge. So we can send you da'wah materials in English, but we can also help with getting the da'wah materials translated into your languages, all right? And then help with the printing costs of those as well, all right? So that means that helps you with your grassroots level da'wah. And finally, certain individuals, outreach specialists, we will focus on and help develop individuals from amongst your communities so that they can then become, the next Abdurrahim Green and the next Hamza Zortes and the next whoever, Eddie from the Deen Show in your communities, right? They will be the people from within your community to be the flag bearers of the da'wah, inshallah. So we'll help with developing certain individuals as well, inshallah. All right? So these are some of the campaigns and the materials that we provide. One of the biggest ones that we've launched last year was the Jesus book and the Jesus exhibition. All right? It's proved to be very popular, and we've got a general Islam exhibition which will deal with atheists as well. So we can provide those exhibitions for your organizations as well, inshallah. But we'll discuss that in tomorrow's networking session. All right? We have different levels of training. Dawah training, we have from basic Dawah training. We have new Muslim support, new Muslim infrastructure. One of the biggest things that we find is when people are involved in Dawah, the biggest thing that people neglect is the new Muslim support. Having a proper infrastructure, so when someone takes their Shahada, what happens after that, right? Having a structured learning program and structured support system that will help them grow in their Islam and even stay in Islam, all right? So we'll provide the basic training for that. And then of course we have intermediate and advanced level training programs, all right? So this weekend, on Saturday, well, tomorrow you'll get some of the basic training with Sultaj. And on Saturday with Hamza, you're going to get some of the intermediate level training. All right? So you're getting some of the brand new content of intermediate level, not just basic level content. Okay? And that's it for me. Finish off with this question. After hearing what we do as IERA, how can we coordinate our da'wah better? Give me some ideas, just throw some ideas off the top of your head. After knowing what we do and what our strategic focus is, what kind of things can we do as IERA and all of your respective organizations? Who wants to go first? What are some of the things that you think we can do? Wow, I bored you guys that much.
You're so good, there is nothing.
No, there must be something.
We don't have anything to add.
No, how can we collaborate? Think about this question. How can we work together? Let's rephrase it. What kind of things can we do to work together?
As we spoke a few months ago,
Yes.
and we said that we are more dealing with Muslims than non-Muslims, and we explained all the issues and problems we have in our country.
Yes.
So I think that maybe you can use some experiences from us for dealing with the Muslims in maybe UK or something like that. Because I think that there is also people in UK, maybe just Muslims by name, or not praying,
of course,
things like that. So that you are just dealing with the non-Muslims. I think that this.
Well, our objective is to empower Muslims like yourselves who are active, give you the tools and resources
to spread it,
to become better, increase your capacity, right? And then you can go and make your dawah even better, right? So we work with Muslims on that level, and we work with non-Muslims in explaining what Islam is. Yeah. Good. Any questions from what you've heard so far? Yes.
Dealing with this book you have mentioned, this about Jesus.
Yes.
What are the chances for it to be translated in Bosnian language?
Yeah, we can do it. Inshallah, we can help with that.
For example, because our community has these rights to how do you say it, to distribute the books and all the things. So I think we can use it by.
Yeah, no problem, inshallah. We can arrange it.
Yeah.
The only condition that we say is that it gets translated professionally,
of course.
and it's proofread professionally by two independent proofreaders. Right? Once that's done, then we can give the rights, and we can even help with the printing as well.
Yeah, because I think this thing, because I think maybe 1 month ago, Sheikh Jawad had one conversation with one guy. He's from Serbia. It was like a live debate about Jesus and about the Quran and the Bible and something like that. So I think this book is kind of fresh, so maybe it can be used.
Of course, absolutely. Okay, anyone else? Brother, you're awfully quiet, man.
No, I'm just
you weren't quiet before. Tell me, how can we collaborate? What can we do? What do you think? With your
I have the
organization?
same opinion like the brother earlier about this book, maybe about the Jesus and everything. Maybe it's the best if you like Ali said to other brother.
I mean, one of the greatest challenges in Slovenia, for example, is when people accept Islam, we don't have the literature to give it to them.
Good.
One of the reasons is, of course, money or many other reasons. Because you can't sell this material. And from my personal experience, I can tell you that there's a high percentage of people who accept Islam and they leave it because they don't have any support.
I agree.
Because most of them have books in Bosnia, in Slovenia.
So is it in English language you need, or in a different language?
In Slovenian language.
In Slovenian language.
Because most books, like I said, most
Okay.
books
Because, for example, in Slovenian language, we don't have our own Quran, translated by a Muslim guy or person.
Got it.
So all of the translations have been done by non-Muslims. And
Got it.
I've also read some books about the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and all of them were done by people who were either Christians or like really deviant.
Yeah, understood.
You
So maybe what we could do is offline we can discuss.
Yeah.
What kind of things
I have already discussed a lot of these things with Brother Sertaj when he was giving his workshop in Slovenia.
So we can look at how we can help with some of the printing and covering some of the costs for that.
Slovenia is, I mean, Bosnians don't live in every single town in Slovenia, and we also don't have so many masajid. For example, like in UK, maybe in UK it's different.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know, but for example in Slovenia we don't have our own Islamic center.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Islamic center or a big mosque.
Got it.
Let's say we have this small masajid. And for, imagine yourself, for example, being a non-Muslim and accepting Islam and coming to the masjid, čekaj, pa ne možeš prekidati, recept tam naš upada, nemoj tako pa. No, that's all, I get it. I can go on.
What we can do is, okay, why don't we do this, Let's spend some time later on tonight to discuss,
Well,
put
I
a
don't
plan
know
of action
about
together,
tonight.
inshallah.
You know.
Tomorrow then.
I mean,
Okay, I'm going to finish on that. Yes. Yes.
Ako možda prevedeš na engleski. Mislim, treba imati u predvidu razliku između daveta pojedinca, to što se dešava u Engleskoj i to što se dešava kod nas u Balkanu. Mi davet činimo zajednici, džematu. I zato lako je sa jednom knjigom da činiš davet od nevjernika. Bilo to ateiste, bilo druge religije. Druga je situacija kod nas kad mi radimo sa muslimanima. I moramo imati predviđ tu razliku kad činimo davet, jer u našoj suradnji, primjer, jer kod njih je situacija da oni činu pojedinca davet. Mi smo u Balkanu i u Sloveniji, jer kad govorimo o muslimanima koji žive u Sloveniji, bilo to Bošnjaci, bilo to drugih nacionalnosti, oni su već muslimani i oni imaju svoje zajednice, bilo to u džamiju, u centru, u organizaciji i tako dalje. I moramo imati i to, jer kod njih to ne postoji. Jer on radi sa individualcima i
sa nemuslimanima.
I zato možemo imati razliku u pristupu. Kako oni pristupuju situaciji, kako oni pristupuju.
Allah ne radiš, Alime, ja ću biti ovako dovoljno bezobrazan da ti to prevedeš.
Ima brat Edi, on je native speaker.
Ajde,
Okay, so
I mean, the brother was talking about that it's different, you know, giving dawah, for example, in the Balkans, where you're giving, basically you're calling, I mean, this is called in terminology Islah, you know, you're basically giving dawah to Muslims that are far away from the religion.
Yes.
And this is different from, for example, situation in Slovenia, where you're basically giving dawah in the real sense. I mean, you're calling people who are, you know, far by Asla. I mean,
yes.
So.
But that's true. It's very true. But one of the things that we find in the UK, and maybe it's the same here.
Let me just, I mean, finish. And he was talking about that maybe for you guys in the UK, maybe you don't have this. I mean, yeah, maybe you don't have these issues or this. I mean, how can I say? This problem to call the Muslims back to
because you are approaching all
individuals.
We are doing with the groups. We are doing with the groups.
Yeah.
So this is the problem.
We know this is what I was going to say. We have the same problems as you have in terms of the Muslims who are not practicing Islam. So what we find is many Muslims who are leaving Islam, born Muslims in the born Muslim families, apostate from Islam because they have doubts about Islam, doubts about the existence of Allah. So all the concepts that you will learn are actually equally applicable to some Muslims as they are to non-Muslims. So for example, in my new Muslim class, I do a weekly class for new Muslims in Newcastle, right? It's not, I don't open it just for new Muslims, new shahadas, reverts to Islam. I also open the class up to those who have newly started practicing the religion from Muslim families. I treat them as the same because they don't know anything about the religion. They know nothing about Tawheed. They know nothing about Islam. They know nothing about halal and haram. So it's dealt with almost in the same way. And this is in the UK. So we have people who are apostating, who are genuinely leaving, becoming ex-Muslims, because they have doubts about, well, does God really exist? Does Allah really exist? Well, if Allah exists, then why is there so many hardships and bad things happening in my life? If, you know, basically the problem of evil, right? Why? Well, I'm living my life without God. Why do I need God in my life? These are things that are happening in Muslim communities just as much as in non-Muslim communities. So if you look at, again, the UK context, non-Muslims in the UK, many of them come from Christian backgrounds. And why did they leave Christianity to become agnostic / atheist? Many times it's because they didn't understand the concept of God correctly in the first place, right? Many times it's because some bad things happened in their life. So it's emotional arguments rather than logical arguments. Yeah, so you're starting to see some trends, similar trends here, right? But of course, I understand there'll be a different context, there'll be a different background and cultural background, so you'll have to adapt it accordingly. But the concepts, the basic concepts will be similar, I think. Allah knows best. Yeah, maybe you agree or disagree, I don't.
Yeah, but we are saying that when you are dealing with Muslims that are maybe not practicing Islam, but you are dealing with the Muslims from different cultures,
Yes.
different nations. We are
Yes.
dealing with the one nation.
Yes.
Okay. For example, we are dealing with the Bosnians, Muslims by name or not practicing Islam. So it's kind of different for you to doing da'wah even with the Muslims just by name. For you than for us, because we are dealing with one group. The mind that are personally the same. For example, it's not the same for the family from Africa or family from Morocco.
I understand, yeah.
Like this.
Yeah.
Okay, so this.
Again, I don't disagree with that, but if you look at the UK context again, you'll find that UK Muslims are in communities.
Yeah.
So you'll have Pakistani communities all together, Bangladeshi communities, Albanian communities together, North Africans. They usually live amongst themselves, so they're dealing with the same group of people as well. So they understand the mentality. But I get your point. Yeah, absolutely. Good. Anyway, I'll finish on there because I want Sheikh Becker to come and do a reminder for everybody. Think about this question for tomorrow's session in the networking session that we do. And then we'll pick it up from tomorrow, inshallah. Is that okay? Jazakumullah khair. As-Selamu Alejkum.